Okay, greetings from Seattle. I am here with Ann, the Executive Director of IYP. Dan. Ann, can you please introduce yourself? Sorry, I'm a little tired, guys. Flew back from Hawaii yesterday. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Sure, I'm Ann Vo, and I'm the Executive Director of Inspire Youth Project, and we help kids with their social and emotional learning here. We serve kids from 5 to 18, and at 18 they don't leave the program, they just graduate into our inner circle and continue their association with the organization.
Okay.
So, very much like a family.
So tell us a little bit more about IYP and the programming that's offered here.
Yeah, we work with kids, and we really serve a population that I think is underserved here in Seattle. Our kids are challenged with living with HIV, AIDS, or some member of their family is. They have childhood trauma, or they've been neglected and abused, and really facing issues that that are really tough and challenging. And so we provide some support for them through our Magic Circle support group, where they get to be with their peers and share their emotions, feelings, what they're going through in a way that others understand, right? You may not be able to talk about the things that they're facing at school. They may not be able to go to high school and say, hey, my parent is living with HIV/AIDS, or I have HIV/AIDS. And I think being able to talk about those things is really important. And then we have a little fun side where they get to be just a kid, and that's through our camp program, which is coming up in July and August. Day camp in July, and then overnight camp at beautiful Lake Wenatchee for a week, where they get to be just kids and do camp things and celebrate and have fun with each other. So there's that. And then we also have a mentoring program. They get paired with another caring adult, so that they have someone that they know who's in their lives that really care about them, that they can speak to, that they can hang out with, that they can say things that they may not be able to say with their parents or their teachers or their aunts, right? Aunts and uncles. Let's throw the uncles in there too. So there's that. And then we also have a holiday giving party. And the holiday giving is exactly what it sounds. We try to provide a wonderful holiday experience for our kids and their families. And it's not just the kids, but their siblings as well. So some of their siblings may not be in our program, but everybody in the family gets that holiday experience.
So I found this interesting, definitely different than some of the other organizations that I visited with. I was asking Ann about the difference in programming, and you said once you're in the program, you're in.
Yeah.
And you're eligible, and you're signed up for all of the different programming
Yes.
throughout the year, that it's not I'm in the summer camp program and that's it.
Right.
So talk about how having that ongoing experience
Yeah.
with the kids helps you and your staff
Yeah.
strengthen that relationship.
Absolutely. It's what I refer to it as a complement of network of programs, right? Because just because you're going to camp, then we lose touch with you the rest of the year. That's not a good thing for us. So we don't like that. So we want you to be here all the time. If you want to come here after school and do your homework and have a snack, we love it. And so they come into the Magic Circle. So however we get them, we're excited. And then from there we say, hey, there's this. So for the teens, there's the teen leadership. And we prepare them for college and life and transition into adulthood. Learning about finances, how to have a checkbook, how to pay your taxes. That was something that was really, really important for them this last year, right? Or talking about depression. So they have their own teen retreat. So kind of like camp, except teenagers don't really go to camp, they go to retreats. And so they get to go to Lake Wenatchee and have a retreat. And then they have the workshops, and then, they get a mentor. So they all complement each other, and it's not a standalone. If you want to do a standalone, you'll still get a lot out of it. So if you do nothing but, let's say, have a mentor, you'll still have that caring adult in your life. If you do nothing but the teen workshops, great, you're going to get a lot of information out of that to help you with your transition. But does it help more to be in the teen workshop, have a teen program that you have your support group and you can talk about what's going on with you, and have a mentor? Yeah, right? It really provides you that complementary network of programs.
Sure. Let's talk about the staff here.
Yeah.
Relatively small office here. We're here in
Yeah.
Ann's beautiful office, but how many people on staff, and
Yeah.
how do their roles differ?
Great. So we have 6 on staff,
Mm-hmm.
and I call it, there's 2 sides of the house. One supports the other side. So all of us, so myself included, our director of development, our volunteer manager, we all support the program staff, and they make the magic happen. They're the ones that designs the curriculum, does the intake, provides the facilitation of all of our programs, and we want to make sure that their lives run smoothly, that they get paid to do what they do so beautifully, and the office is running well. So that's how I see it.
Sure.
Some of other staff members may see it a little differently, but right?
Sure.
Because everybody's super important. We couldn't do this work without Holly Ann, our volunteer manager.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this organization doesn't function without volunteers and people like you who've come to help us, right? And the camp is volunteer run as well. We have lots of volunteers coming to that. We have volunteer mentors. So without Holly Ann, we couldn't do it. Without the director of development, we wouldn't have any money. So we couldn't do that, right? So everybody's position is super important. But how I see it is this side of the house supports that side of the house.
Great. Well, you got a little ahead of me there with the volunteers, so I was going to, that was my next question. So perfect, we're right on cue here. Talk about the role of volunteers, how many volunteers involved with the program. You talk about wanting to have a high, or I guess a low ratio of, volunteers and staff to kids.
Yeah.
Why that's so important.
It's really important so that, again, the kids get the adult attention that they need and deserve. So we have about 60 active volunteers and who are constantly helping us do our events, our programming, the Magic Circle support group, they're there for that. They're coming to camp. They come in and help us with the office, and we couldn't run this organization without them, truly, because there's, again, only 6 of us. There's only so many things we can do. Then without our volunteers, we would be in a difficult situation.
Sure,
yeah.
Sure. And this year-round programming for all these kids is provided free.
Correct.
So how do you fund all this?
Right, through our donors and foundations. So we have such generous donors here in Seattle. It's incredible how generous people are and how willingly they give and how much they give of not just their money but their time and their heart. Our board, some of our board members have been here a long time, just like our volunteers have been here a super long time. We have volunteers, this is their 17th year coming back to camp.
Wow.
17 years. They've been at camp every single year for the last 17 years. And camp is a week long. They take their vacation as camp is their vacation time. Right? Where they're 24/7 working with kids, getting dirty, doing everything they need to do, and then they get to go home and go back to work because they took their vacation week for us.
It's pretty amazing, when Ann tells the stories of the sustainability of these connections, the mentoring program as well. And some of you have, I'm sure, seen, I've worked with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and it's sort of similar. Both require that 1-year commitment, but here it really seems that commitment is over in some cases a very extended amount of time.
Yes. Just you mentioned our mentors. Our requirement is 12 months, right? It's a year commitment. But our average mentor relationship is 30 months. It's almost 3 years.
That's astonishing.
Right. It's really long. We're so proud of that number. And then on top, so that's just the average, right? But there are mentor relationships that are lasting 20 plus years, and that I think is a testament to how well they're matched, and also the things that are happening in that relationship, right? Yeah.
And so it seems like here in Seattle, it's a great atmosphere for nonprofits. You're telling me how the city really has that giving spirit.
Very much so. Very philanthropic city, and a mindset, right? And I think there are all sorts of clubs all around Seattle that's their goal, is just to be philanthropic, and young millennials who are, again, jumping in and making a difference, and not just with their money but their time, their expertise. We tapped into an organization called Taproot. I don't know if you're familiar, but those are folks who volunteer their expertise to say, hey, nonprofit, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to do a website? Do you want me to do a logo? Do you want me to do that? So constantly giving back. And so I think, again, we live in a city where we're very lucky to benefit from all those very generous people.
And so you're not from Seattle, but
I'm not.
But you've lived here in Seattle for how many years?
18 years
18
now.
18 years?
Yep.
So tell us another, we got people watching from around the
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
Tell us a little more about why you enjoy living in Seattle. What's your favorite part of living here, other than the nonprofit climate?
Yeah, right. So Seattle's beautiful. I come from California. That was the previous place I lived before I moved to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things California, the Bay Area specifically, could kind of claim to fame is that it was an hour from everything.
Mm-hmm.
You could go to the beach, you could go to the mountains, you could go, into the city, you
Sure.
could do anything you want within that time. Well, Seattle's the same, where you've got beach, you've got mountain, you've got skiing, you've got city, you've got rural, you've got the farm, and it's all within reach. But on top of that, you could borrow a cup of sugar. Like, it's one of those towns where you can go, hey, can I borrow a cup of sugar? And people say yes, and come on in. And it's very friendly in that sense, so I love that. I think it's a great place to raise a family. For me, that was an important piece, where California was just more isolating. Things are farther apart, not as you couldn't borrow the cup of sugar from your neighbor in California. I felt maybe I was living in the wrong neighborhood, not sure, but
It's also a short flight to Hawaii.
It's a short direct flight.
Short direct flight.
Direct flight.
It
That's
really
the
wasn't
key.
that bad yesterday.
No, right?
Fall asleep for a few minutes, have some cheese and fruit, and
That's
boom,
right.
you're back in Seattle.
Yes, direct flight.
Last one, really easy.
Sure.
Can you plug your website, social media channels, let people know where they can
Yes.
read more
Yes.
about?
You can friend us on Facebook at Inspire Youth Project. Our website is inspireyouthproject.org.
Put it up on the screen there.
Absolutely. And we would love to hear from folks and see what you're doing around the country too.
And certainly we'd love to have some more volunteers here, always a help.
Absolutely. Yes.
Plenty of work to do, as I saw this morning. We're doing some sorting and everything.
Getting ready for camp.
Really, really excited to be here. Thank you so much for taking the time. Really thrilled to be in Seattle, about as far away from South Carolina as I can be, other than Alaska and Hawaii,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
But this really does seem like a terrific organization. I urge all of you guys to go read more, and if you're in the Seattle area, send an email, give a call,
Yeah.
check out the website, and give back.
Great. Thank you so
So,
much, Chris, for being here.
Really nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
And we'll get her signature on the car. We're glad to be back on my four wheels, and we'll be heading out to Montana next. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.